Welcome back again to our training, our web development training. We are done with HTML, we are done with CSS, and now we are looking at JavaScript. JavaScript is quite different from what we've done previously. HTML, which we use HTML to um, create the structure of the web. We use CSS to design the structure. Okay. And we're going to be looking at JavaScript. JavaScript is going to help us with the manipulation of these elements, the HTML element. So prepare your mind for this. This is quite tougher than the HTML and CSS did. This is going to require your will, going to require your patience. Okay. So prepare ahead. It's going to require your time. I want you to prepare your mind for it. It's going to be very simple if you put your mind and your time and your energy into it. Let's get started. We're going to look at the introduction to JavaScript. Here it says using HTML, a web page can be created, and the web page can even be complex documents that intricately describe the content of it. Okay? Then when you add CSS to it, document, this can be presented in various ways, like changing font size, typeface, background color. We've done all this. Then no matter how you dress it up, HTML and CSS can only achieve the static beauty of the web page. So with JavaScript, you can bring that awesome web page to life. Effects such as slider, you would have seen website that you have sliders there. Form validation, pop-up, modal can be achieved with JavaScript. Content development is the practice of producing HTML, CSS, JavaScript for a web page, like that. So let me quickly go to a website and see one of the functions of JavaScript. So I'm going to visit this website, suresta.com. Okay, look at this website now. You can see this slide is being done by JavaScript. Okay, the slide is being done by JavaScript. If we look at this also, this drop down, JavaScript is involved in the design. Let's look at something else. Okay, let's look at this. As this is even changing color, this is done by JavaScript. Let's click this image. Then if I see side, it's being done by what? JavaScript. If I can click this, what happens when you click? The image switched, changed to another one. Look at the side here too. And see the image is changing. This is the work of JavaScript. It's going to help you manipulate the HTML. It adds dynamism to the web. So, there are a lot of functions. Okay, look at this now. When I pick black, what happens? You can see what happens there. There was a change. That's the work of JavaScript. Once you make a change somewhere, it can affect another change elsewhere. And when I pick none, what happens? You can see what happens. It shows me the number of quantity that is color black size. So I click this because I haven't logged in. That's why you're not seeing that. So these are just few of the things that JavaScript does a whole lot. You guys are going to see that. So that's just the introduction to JavaScript, brief history of JavaScript. Um, okay, you can read about it. I don't want us to waste much time discussing all. JavaScript was standardized in ECMAScript. So there's ECMAScript 6 and many like that. Ajax was coined as asynchronous JavaScript. Um, this was done in 2005. If you guys knew when Facebook came out, I don't know globally, but in Nigeria, I think around 2008, 9. Yes, around 2008 and 9. You realize that when you send a message on Facebook, after sending the message, the whole page is going to reload. Okay, the whole page is going to what? Reload. And why is it? Why was it like that? It was because Facebook was not making use of Ajax. So I think after from it was from 2010 I started noticing it that they started using Ajax. Right now, when you go to Facebook, you make a comment, the whole page does not reload. The only place that reloads is just the particular part you update. It's the same thing as like when you go to Facebook without Ajax, without this Ajax, when you click the like button, then no, when you click it, then that was around 2008 and 9. When you click the like button, the whole page is going to refresh and start all over again. So I think that's actually reduced the number of likes on pages because people are scared of starting all over. But once they click like, the page is going to reload and they have to start all over again. So to prevent that, they started making use of Ajax. Once you click like, the page does not reload. The only part that reloads is just the like part. That's the only part that reloads. So that's the work of Ajax. Then jQuery. jQuery is a library to JavaScript. So it makes you write less JavaScript code. So I'm going to show you that. Then we have Node.js that was released in 2010. And Node.js, it's more like it's a JavaScript environment where you can write a backend. You can write JavaScript at the backend. So the JavaScript we are working on, the front end JavaScript. So when you go into Node.js, you'll be writing backend. So it's just an environment to write JavaScript at the backend. Then we have AngularJS is a front-end library, front-end JavaScript library. So many like that. Okay, so you can read every other thing. Then let's look at the requirements to learning JavaScript. You need the basic knowledge of HTML and CSS, which we've done. You need a text editor, which I believe you have, VS Code. You need a browser, I believe you have that. And the most important part is what logical thinking and tenacity. You must have these two also. And I'll add another one, patience. You must be patient, okay? Don't need to rush. Then programming, because what we want to do in JavaScript is program. So we're into the real programming right now. Computer programming is the process of developing and implementing various sets of instructions to enable a computer to do a certain task. Okay, so I can command the computer to do what I want it to do. Just like we did a slide that when you click the right side, the image should what change, or when you click another image, that particular image should show on the bigger box. Okay? And remember the drop down we did. It's a command that once I click any of this, update this particular one. When I click this, update this also. It's a command. You can see I'm telling it what to do. That's simply that. Okay? And it's simply about speaking the language of the computer. And what's the language of computer? That's one and zero. So, but we won't be using the one and zero. So there are types of programming languages, low level language, which is machine code 1 and 0. Won't be writing in 1 and 0. Okay, so it has been simplified. We have the assembly. So we'll be using what the high level language, which is readable, which we can understand. We have computer programs. Okay, the computer programs are written in a language such as, okay, we have different ones. We have C, C++, Java, PHP, JavaScript, C hash, Python. This can either be compiled language or interpreted language. JavaScript is an example of interpreted language. That's we have so many programming languages, so many. These are just few of them, and we have so many frameworks. We have so many libraries apart from major languages, and we have the compiled languages like Java is a compiled language, interpreted language, PHP, JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript is an example of interpreted language. What this means is that JavaScript do not compile before you see the result. Once you make a change in your text editor and you check it, you are seeing the results immediately. You don't need to compile. For Java now, after you've written your code, you have to compile it. If there's an error, it's going to notify you there's an error. You have to compile again till there's no error, then you check. But for JavaScript, it interprets it immediately. Once you are writing it, you are seeing the no time for compilation. So it runs on the browser's engine. JavaScript runs on the browser's. I think it makes use of V8 engine. Like Google Chrome makes use of V8 engine to run the JavaScript. So that's that. And keeping them separate. HTML, it describes the content of the page. Talked about that. CSS, it specifies the presentation of that content. JavaScript, it controls the behavior of that content. So you see how we're going to make use of JavaScript to control the behavior of the, use it to control HTML, the element, anything. So why these technologies are used in producing a web page, they should be kept separate. You have what a HTML file, you have your CSS file, you have your JavaScript file. And if you are lazy, sometimes I can put everything inside same file. Since I'm not writing so many things, maybe I just want to write something very short. I can put HTML there, put CSS and JavaScript together. But on a real project, I will separate everything. I have my HTML file, I will have my CSS file, and I will have my JavaScript.